Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Finkelstein.
My name is Yoshi Gall.
My name is Isabel Siegel.
I'm Jeffrey Martin.
And today we'll be presenting the multifaceted physician-assisted suicide controversy. To begin, I'm going to introduce the overarching question to our presentation. This question is, should physician-assisted suicide be a clinical practice that is legalized in the United States? From now on, we will refer to physician-assisted suicide as PASS. So the first solution we came up with for the question that was presented was that PASS should be available and legal to any citizen who asks for it. So from an ethical point of view, the idea of autonomy is extremely important. This is the idea that one should be able to govern and make their own decisions to themselves. In the US, there is a long-standing idea of the separation of church and state. And with that, the idea that there's a lot of Judeo-Christian values that run deep throughout the US. These ideas of not being able to kill oneself or ending one's own life. Now, the idea that we should separate both these religious ideals and the ideals of the state are supremely important to the US. And if we separate them and allow people to make their own decisions, the ideas of PASS being legalized in the US should definitely be allowed.
Now, although our country in our founding documents of the Declaration of Independence and Constitution, for example, was founded upon the ideals of self-autonomy and individualism, the notion that we would be able to pass a law in the United States Congress and the United States federal government in general that distributes PASS drugs to any citizen would simply be an unreasonable proposition, because it would be viewed as far too anarchist and would not, and the United States government, regardless of political affiliation, would not view this as a practical solution.
Okay, so our refined solution would be to make PASS drugs legal, an legal option for only patients with a terminal illness.
So there are two drugs most commonly used to perform physician-assisted suicide. The first one is pentobarbital, and it is a liquid, and it is to be taken with a beverage to suppress its bitter taste, to make the emission of this drug as pleasant as possible. The second drug is serobarbital, which is given in a capsule form. Both are administered orally before the patient's bedtime. And the last drug is metoclopramide, which should be taken before the two lethal dosages are given. It is an antiemetic, which means that it will make sure that the patient is not vomiting or nauseous whenever they pass away. The Hippocratic Oath is a document which outlines the moral and ethical values of doctors, and there is a ethical argument which goes against the Hippocratic Oath, which goes against physician-assisted suicide, and the Hippocratic Oath, saying that it goes against physician-assisted suicide goes against the Hippocratic Oath. But this is not the case, because as it says right here, whenever the patient has a medical evaluation and it is concluded that physician-assisted suicide would benefit the patient, then the Hippocratic Oath supports physician-assisted suicide.
So the drugs Jeff just mentioned cost about $75 to $100, and when you put that in comparison with Medicare, which spends about $39,000 on the last 2 months of patient life, and a patient can rack up to $10,000 per day in the ICU, this is really a cheap cost. In 2009 alone, Medicare paid over $55 billion on the last 2 months of a patient's life. And to put that into perspective, that's a larger budget than the entire budget of the Department of Education. It's estimated about 20 to 30% of these costs do not actually have a meaningful impact. For example, an 85-year-old woman was given a pap smear test, which is usually a test given to women less than half her age. And so this is an example of when a patient has a terminal illness, doctors usually recommend them to unnecessary specialists to cover all bases. And what this does is it's all bills to the taxpayer. Separate from Medicare, families themselves spend an average of about approximately $15,000 on the last month of their family member's life. And legalizing physician-assisted suicide would save at least $1 billion if we were to extrapolate from the statistics found in the Netherlands, which show that approximately 1.8% of all the people who died in 2005 received past drugs. And a really good quote on this topic by Dr. William L. Toffler in his op-ed in the Wall Street Journal was that life is expensive, but death is free.
So the issue with Cece's argument is that although life is expensive and death is free, and that by allowing themselves to partake in PASS, they make sure that they don't have to spend as much money on their lives, people are being forced into situations where they are not required, but enforced to go through with PASS actions. A great story of this would be Barbara Wagner, who was an elderly woman living in Vermont. She broke her wrist and did not have a lot of money on her. And so her physicians were telling her that she should just get it over with. She was already pretty close to death, so she's in her mid-80s, and that might as well just take these past drugs and just end her life. Now, from an ethical point of view, this is not okay. People should not be pressuring others to end their own lives.
Now to introduce a counterexample to what Joseph was talking about, there was recently, within the last couple of years, a woman named Brittany Maynard who was 29 years old and she had terminal brain cancer. And we will go through her story in order to elaborate on situations that many terminally ill patients would require in order to go under legalized paths.
So Brittany originally lived in California, and after she was diagnosed with brain cancer, she packed up all her bags and moved to Oregon, where past drugs are legal and available to patients with terminal illness. And to do so, she had access to financial resources to be able to pay for to move her life to Oregon and quickly set up in order to suit the requirements necessary to receive past drugs. And so she's an example of someone who had the resources, had the means to be able to do this, but this is not something that's available to everyone. And that's why it's critical for legislative action to be taken on the federal level to be able to make past drugs available to any citizen, regardless of socioeconomic background.
So unfortunately, there are no cures for Brittany's terminal cancer. The doctors prescribed full brain radiation, but a side effect of that would be that all the hair on her head would be singed off, and she would suffer third-degree burns all over her scalp. All additional treatments would have debilitating headaches that she'd have to live through constantly, and other treatments would cause her to lose verbal, cognitive, and motor movements altogether.
And additionally, when Brittany Maynard's story is examined, we will find that it marks a turning point in public opinion towards legalizing PASS. So if we flip to the next slide and can see this graph from the Gallup poll that was done, overall the differences in legalizing PASS remains relatively stagnant. In 1997, 52% of people believe that the PASS should be legalized, but in roughly 2013, 51% of people believe that PASS should be legalized. So the difference was very negligible. However, after Brittany Maynard chose to end her life by means of PASS, many more people said that they believe that PASS should be legalized. So by putting a human face to the name, Brittany